if we wanted to give some concrete, I guess, not how-tos, but sort of like a little checklist, let's say the 5 or 6 things for a manager, what they could do to start practicing leadership, to be ready for that transition to become a leader. So, and it's visible. What are some of the things that come to mind for you first? Well, you go give me your list, and I'll give you mine afterwards.
Yeah. So one of the things that comes screaming out at me is the courage to consistently ask for feedback. Right? People are very averse sometimes to asking for feedback, but great leaders all have one of these things in common. They always ask for feedback, right? Because that's the way you get a sense for where you are and how could you improve. So asking for feedback for me is like, that's a critical piece. The second piece is seek out mentorship, right? And be proactive about seeking out mentorship, right? It's really important to have you start building your team. And when I say your team, not your team that you're driving towards, but your own committee of people that are going
like your personal board of directors.
Yeah, your board of directors, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be thinking about having a mentor and then having a sponsor. And I mean, we could unpack that as well, but that the difference is that the sponsor is the person that's going to be talking on your behalf when you're not in the room.
Yep.
Right. And that mentor is the person that's that guide for you, that's going to be able to help you navigate these waters. So for me, the two main ones, it's ask for feedback as much as you can, not take the feedback personally, by the way, and then seek out a mentor or mentors.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. So seek out feedback and seek out a mentor. So it's interesting. You said don't take the feedback personally. Take it personally, but take it constructively.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's because it is personal. The feedback should be personal. If it's not personal, you need to push to get the personal feedback. And I think that's, we'll have a whole nother conversation about performance conversations, preparing for them, giving them and receiving them. So for me, I think some of the things as a manager going from management to leadership, one of the things we talked about in our conversation was asking questions of the team. Have the conversation, if you're in your performance review with your team members, the people you're managing, ask them what their dreams are. What are their goals? What do they want? What would make them feel more fulfilled? Okay. One, it's a great way to have during the performance conversation to make it positive and make it about them and about their growth rather than about, what objectives they accomplished, they didn't accomplish. So really to take a sincere interest in what they're after. Okay. So that's, I think, one thing. Listening. When you ask questions, listen. And when you don't ask questions, listen. Okay. Listen, listening is probably one of the most underrated skills that people need to develop more and more. Listen to your stakeholders. If your boss is asking you for something, what are they really asking? And be willing to ask a question to clarify it. Don't assume that what they're saying and what you're hearing are exactly the same thing. So really get clarification. And then when you're managing a team or leading a team, when you're asking questions, really listen. Listen for what might be behind the words.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, that's another thing. So, have a sincere interest in your people, listen, bring your team together and talk about where you want to go as a group. What is the purpose of the team that you're managing? Okay. Not just, okay, here's our job. What's your purpose? How do you fit into what the company is offering or what the organization is offering? So really understanding that purpose so that you can then, once you have that, you have something that really solidifies you together. And as you're thinking about the tasks or the objectives, you can actually tie those objectives back to the purpose.
Yeah.
I think, those are a couple of things. So if we think about, asking for feedback, if you think about seeking out a mentorship, and if you can't find a person, read. Look at, look at people you respect and what is it about them that you respect, and see how you would bring that into your own life.
Yeah.
Okay. Asking your team what their interests are, what their hopes and dreams are, and seeing how the work that they're doing, you can help them achieve that. That'll be the inspirational form. Bringing the team together to think about, what's the purpose of what you're doing. And don't think that you have to have those answers. In fact, it's much better to come in with a learner's mind without the answers, seek input and co-formulate, the word do things together, to co-formulate what that vision and what the sort of the objectives might be for the team and then individually. I think part of it is also practicing speaking, practicing engaging one-to-one conversations, one-to-many conversations where you're talking about this, and make it so that you are seen doing this. And then I think there's just one super secret thing if you can do, is to engage with your human resources department or your learning and development department and see not only are there classes that you can take, but are there things that you can actually give? Is there a way that you can begin transferring the knowledge and the experience you have, teaching management courses, teaching some skill courses, to help you learn how to lead a classroom around learning different tasks. So there's a whole bunch of things there that don't want to overwhelm people. There's 6 or 7 different things that people can, in my mind, take on. Sean, I can't thank you enough for talking about this subject with us. Management to leadership. What does it look like? What do you need to consider? Any last words, or is there anything that, if people say, "Wow, Sean, that dude was just amazing," they want to follow you or they want to learn more about you, where can they do that?
Yeah, I think from a last word standpoint, the last thing I would say is I encourage people to, when we talked about powerful questions and using powerful questions, on this topic, I would just encourage people to ask yourself, who am I being when I'm doing whatever I'm doing, right? When I'm managing my team, right? Who are you being? It's a really, it's a sleeper question that I find when people ask themselves that. It's interesting what comes up. So look at that. Yeah, exactly. Look at that and see what comes up. And in terms of how to contact me, I know, Steve, you'll be able to provide folks my contact info. They could also find me on LinkedIn. And so I know we're going to be providing those type of contacts, but I'm always happy to engage people. I have my culture coaching practice as well. So there's going to be links to that also on how you could reach me by email. But you know me, Steve. We could chat topics forever. So I'll always make myself available to whomever.
Fantastic. Sean, again, it's been great. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this conversation. I'm looking forward to having you as a thought partner for other conversations that we're going to be having here at Next Steps.